Are you fucking kidding me? Fucking, Okay, where is my reactions? There we go. I fucking hate it. What the fuck is wrong with OBS? I have YouTube fucking open. Why the fuck can you not detect it, you piece of fucking shit? Does that look like fucking YouTube to you, you motherfucking ass? There, fucking asshole. Piece of fucking shit. God damn it, this fucking OBS piece of fucking shit. Anywho, oh, welcome. Hello, welcome. How are you doing today? Welcome, everyone. Sorry for that outburst. It fuck work and then now have to deal with fucking this shit. You know, half the time OBS actually works. You know what I notice? If I open OBS while YouTube is also open, it does not detect YouTube. But I have YouTube minimized, open OBS, and then maximize YouTube, then it detects it. I don't fucking understand. What the fuck is going on? Anywho, welcome. I can do some YouTube reactions and just have just a general chill stream. I just want to relax a bit. Anywho, let's get right into it.
Everything became downloadable content. Want the true ending to your game? That'll be $15. Want to use that cool sword you see in the trailer? $9.99, please. Games started shipping with less content. They'd cut out features that used to be standard, then sell them back as DLC. Fighting games that once came with all characters now lock half behind a paywall. This created whales in the gaming industry. People who spend thousands on microtransactions, and companies started designing games to cater to them. Number 5. Air for your tires. Back in the day,
luckily there is some gas stations that do offer free air. They compensate it by, I think it is like an electric motor, They compensate it by increasing their prices in the convenience store.
Every gas station had a free air hose just sitting there, waiting for you to use it. You pull up, fill your tires, and drive away. No quarters needed. But something changed in the late 1970s. Someone looked at these air hoses and thought charging people for air would be profitable. And so, the coin-operated air machine was born. The companies claimed they needed the money for maintenance costs. Meanwhile, California passed a law saying stations had to provide free air if you bought gas. But the stations found a loophole. They made the machines coin-operated and put up tiny signs saying, "Ask attendant for free air." Good luck finding an attendant who knows about this. These machines now charge about $1.50 for a few minutes of air. That's enough time to fill maybe 2 tires if you're as fast as a NASCAR pit crew. Some stations even have credit card readers on their air machines now. Because nothing says modern convenience like paying to inflate your tires with air that's literally everywhere around us. Number 4. Resort fees. Resort fees are one of the biggest scams in the hotel industry. You find an amazing deal, $99 a night in Vegas. But when you get to the hotel, that $99 room is actually $159. Back in the 90s, some genius at a Las Vegas hotel had an idea. Instead of including everything in the room price like hotels had done forever, they would split it up. That way, they could advertise a lower price and then surprise guests with extra charges later. It's like going to a restaurant that advertises $5 burgers. But when you get there, they charge you a dining fee for using their chairs and plates. These resort fees supposedly cover things like the pool that was always free before, the gym you'll probably never use, and in-room safe usage. They're charging you to keep your stuff safe in their own hotel. These fees are mandatory, so even if you never use any of the amenities, you're still paying for them. In 2012, one hotel in Las Vegas was charging a resort fee higher than the actual room rate. Hotels love these fees because they often don't have to pay travel agent commissions on them and they can be taxed differently than room rates. Number 3. Online news paywalls. The Wall Street Journal changed the internet forever in 1996.
And this is why here we have ad blockers because of these paywalls. Not only that, But also, we have paywall blockers. Yeah, that's a new thing that actually recently came out. We have paywall blockers now.
6. While everyone was enjoying free online news, WSJ decided to put their articles behind a digital toll booth. The internet was built on free information sharing. It was like a giant library where everyone could read whatever they wanted, but WSJ decided to charge for access, and others quickly followed. The New York Times, the Washington Post, soon every news site had a paywall. These paywalls come in different forms. Some are hard paywalls, where you can't read anything without paying. Others are soft paywalls that let you read a few articles before demanding payment. News sites give you just enough free content to get you hooked before hitting you with the subscription prompt. But this created an unexpected problem. While legitimate news sits behind paywalls, fake news and misinformation remain completely free and spread rapidly across the internet. So while real journalism costs money, false information flows freely. The same newspapers that restrict access still complain about people being uninformed after turning news into a luxury item. Number 2. ATM surcharges. In the early
I wonder why.
1990s, ATMs were mostly free. They were owned by banks and placed everywhere as a service for their customers. It wasn't meant to be a profit center. Then independent ATM operators came up with an idea. They started putting ATMs in convenient spots like stores and bars, but with a catch. They charged people for using them. The banks noticed this and realized they could also charge people for accessing their own money. And just like that, ATM fees became the new normal. Today, the average ATM fee is over $4.70 per transaction. That means if you take out $20, you're...
At this point, you might as well just go to the ATM that is actually like, I think it was kind of like either a state sponsored or bank sponsored, like at the actual bank. I think there's only select few ATM, like the ATMs that you use like to get to get cash to put a little money into like Chime card. Those ATMs are free. Chime, do not start charging ATMs, or I swear to God, you're going to be losing customers, and you're going to be losing customers quick.
You're paying almost 25% in fees just to access your own cash. Some ATMs in places like Las Vegas even charge up to $10 per transaction. These fees make banks billions every year. We now live in a world where we pay money to get our own money. It's exactly like paying rent to live in your own house. And it all started because one company decided that convenience should come with a price tag. Number 1. The commercial greeting card.
And you know what? That's why people who pay for convenience are often more broke. And people who actually take matters in their own hands, like you, Windows is my workstation. However, I use Linux as my I have a Linux laptop I use for personal use, just for general web browsing and research and whatnot. And I have to do everything myself. If something goes wrong, I have to figure it out myself. Because I use Arch, by the way. I had to. Anywho, yeah, that's pretty much that. Well, here we go.
It's 1843, and Sir Henry Cole, a busy Victorian gentleman with too many friends, has a problem. He needs to write personal Christmas letters to everyone he knows. Back then, not sending a handwritten letter was basically like unfriending someone on Facebook. But worse, looking at his massive pile of letters to write, Henry comes up with an idea. He commissions an artist to design 1,000 cards with "A Merry Christmas and a Happy New Year to You" and fancy artwork. He used what he needed, and then realized he had extras lying around, so he decided to sell them for 1 shilling each. Before this, people just wrote nice letters to each other for free. It was personal, meaningful, and didn't cost anything. But once people realized they could buy pre-made cards instead of writing letters, the greeting card industry exploded. By 1880, companies were printing millions of cards a year. Today, it's a multi-billion-dollar industry. We're spending billions on pieces of paper with pre-written messages because one guy was too busy to write his Christmas letters. Now, we even pay extra for cards that look handwritten or personal. We're paying more for cards that fake the authenticity we used to have for free. That's all for today. I'll be making similar videos in the future. Subscribe to see them.
Like I said, people who pay for convenience often end up being more broke than those who decide to just do things themselves. Unfortunately, I would do my own oil change, but I don't really have a garage or the supplies to do it. You know, I was taught in person how to do my own oil change. Unfortunately, you kind of need a house in order to do your own oil change. So I usually, what I do, I don't really go to like big, well-known stuff, guys, to get my own change done. I usually go to like the family-run mechanic shops. They usually charge a cheaper price. Plus, I make sure I bring. I make sure I bring my own supplies. Even further, I make sure I bring the good stuff, like the really good stuff, like the. I don't cheap out on my car ever. Any extra essentials outside of tires and oil change, any outside of the functionality, including brakes as well. I occasionally maybe every other year I see if my brakes need to be changed. However, most of the time it's all good. I usually take care of my car well. Hey, oh yeah, chat. The quickest way to lose your brakes is to brake hard. You never brake hard. You always want to do a soft brake about maybe 300 3 to 400 meters away from the stop sign or the traffic light. That's a sweet spot.
Today I found something pretty interesting that I just can't resist the urge to share with all of you. I'm just kidding. That's a classic gag right there. I got you good. But
Lol. I get it. I get it. Honestly, I should pull that prank on chat here. One day. One day.
I did actually read something pretty fascinating. It was an independent study that was conducted that found 72% of games industry executives believe that Steam has a monopoly on PC games. And this is an interesting topic and something that I've talked about on stream quite a bit, but I want to yap about this because they're not entirely wrong. Steam is like a diet monopoly when it comes to PC games, but not because they use like monopolistic tactics or anything. They literally just offer a better service than anything else that seems to come up and literally do nothing and win just by being better than all of the competitors that try and enter the market. Developers and players just naturally gravitate towards Steam, and thus they do kind of have like a stranglehold, like nipple clamps on PC games market. So like they do have oomph, and you can make an argument that they're like a soft monopoly, but I think it tells a very interesting story because there are alternatives, there are competitors, they just don't necessarily thrive. So anytime that a new games platform tries to enter the market to compete with Steam, they do their own version, you know, with blackjack and hookers and whatever, and it usually flounders. Like, it usually flatlines pretty quickly because it's just inferior to Steam. Even though Steam has remained largely unchanged for the longest time, it has cemented itself as just a really easy to use platform that's just extremely convenient for developers and players. So a new platform springing up, it's got its work cut out for it. But that's not to say they don't exist, because there are a lot of alternatives. Well, maybe a lot's being a little charitable. There are some alternatives. Some of them are even decent, like GOG. Even though in recent times I've had extraordinarily horrible luck with GOG and getting games to actually fucking work through there, it is a service that is good, but it's not really comparable to Steam or anything. And then there's things like the Epic Game Store, which I think did try and employ monopolistic tactics to compete with Steam. Epic Game Store, I don't know how many of you remember, was trying to like incentivize developers to marry themselves to their platform exclusively, basically trying to have like their own console wars between these platforms of Steam versus Epic Game Store. So they would like steal away developer titles to go to the Epic Game Store through incentives. And it didn't work because Epic Game Store itself is just not a great platform. So people don't like to use it willingly. Very few people choose Epic Game Store over Steam. So it hasn't beaten Steam, and it's kind of a joke that's gotten a lot of resentment because of some of their tactics they've used to try and compete. Whereas Steam doesn't really do any of that. It just kind of sits there fucking lollipop in hand and does nothing and is winning. All these other platforms spring up and you
Let me put this to perspective. Epic Games is like Mario. Has a grip on everything. Its own IP and whatnot. Will strike you down if you try to compete with it in any way, shape, or form. And Steam is like Luigi. Luigi wins by doing nothing. Steam wins by doing nothing. They're one and the same.
Usually just run themselves straight into the shitter. So Steam just always prevails in the end. And that does put it in a position where it is like a soft monopoly. Worth mentioning about this study in particular, 75% of respondents were senior managers of C-suite level, with 77% from studios with more than 50 employees. The study found that for a majority of the studios, Steam accounts for over 75% of revenue. And then they do briefly mention that developers started utilizing Epic Game Store and the Xbox PC Game Store. But again, it's clear Steam is the bulk of the balloons.
Yep.
It is fascinating because, as I briefly mentioned, Steam doesn't do anything to try and solidify this pseudo-monopoly. Like, they don't have parameters in place to try and force people to use Steam and drive out competition or anything like that. They literally just plant their feet and lat spread and just sit there menacingly, to the point where if you're a developer releasing on PC and you choose not to release on Steam, you are cutting your own nuts off. You are doing yourself a huge disservice in not having your game in front of all of those Steam users. And again, it's not Steam that's doing that and putting that fear of God in you. It's just gamers choose Steam, so if your game's not on Steam, they might not be buying it at all in general. They might not even give it the time of day.
Yeah.
So, like, it's very interesting, because again, Steam, at least not to anything I've ever seen, has never really tried to do anything to be a monopoly in the PC gaming space. They've just always been really convenient, like user-focused, and like, first and foremost, just accessible to developers and users, that they are just the best service. Now, of course, it's not perfect. Nothing ever will be. Like, I fucking hate the Steam friend UI and all that. I bitch and moan about that endlessly on stream whenever I'm trying to, like, co-op with friends on different games. But, like, overall, the Steam platform is better than any other games platform that has come out, generally speaking.
I agree.
So, it's hard to compete with that. So even though Steam's doing nothing, like, they don't need to, like, innovate or change things. They just have to not wipe their whole ass with everything they've built over the last couple of decades. And so far, they've been doing a great job of not just fucking it all up. And that seems to be, like, all they do. They are doing nothing to limit competition or anything. I have to imagine at the Steam HQ, they don't even know that they're ever in a competition with other game platforms. They probably have no fucking idea about, like, what Epic Games Store does.
That's so
get, like,
true. That might be
exclusives and shit
true.
past. Like, I doubt they even have it as a blip on their radar. Now, normally, monopolies are a really bad thing for consumers. That's typically bad news. You do not want monopolies because there's no incentive to be the best service. There's no incentive to change or improve or get better for consumers, because what's the point? There's no alternatives. And like I said, Steam is not a monopoly. Yeah. But it kind of is like a de facto monopoly in the sense that pretty much everyone is choosing Steam, developer and players alike. So all the other alternative platforms, they're not exactly, you know,
Yeah.
popping off or anything like that. They're not out there wiggling their finger in celebration with how great everything's going there.
Oh, I forgot to deploy. Where's it? Where's it? Where's it? Where's it? No, fuck off. Alright. I forgot to deploy stream avatars. I don't know. I don't know why. I'm not used to stream avatars yet, and that's why I keep on forgetting. I'm trying. It's gonna take a little bit of time for me to get as second nature. Let's connect. Didn't it? There we go. There we go. And yeah, that should do it. There we go.
Compared to like a Steam or something. But Steam is the best thing for consumers right now in this market. There isn't a better alternative. So it is weird because it is a monopoly that is a monopoly because it just is the best. So people are choosing it willingly. They're not.
There's two types of monopolies. There's the consumer monopoly, and there's a corporate monopoly. Most businesses choose the corporate monopoly because it's easier for them to force people to use their platform. While Steam, they don't force people. It's just people just choose it because it's actually the better of every single game platform in existence, including Discord. So okay, not including Discord, but yeah.
Being like, you know, fucking hypnotized into it or something, or they're not being forced to because of lack of alternatives. It is just the best in the industry right now. So everyone goes to it. So it's one of the few times you'll see this kind of report where it's like, oh, this many people believe Steam is a monopoly, and you're like, oh yeah, good. That's great news. You're right. it's so rare because let's take another de facto monopoly, for example, YouTube. YouTube, it's got a big time stranglehold on video sharing. There's very few alternatives to YouTube, and it's something that's been discussed, yapped about, blabbered about for so many years now, and there just isn't a real YouTube competitor. And what does YouTube do with this swamp ass throne it finds itself on top of for videos? Well, it doesn't improve, I'll tell you that much. It's definitely not the best it can be. There has been some big time shitification going on in recent years because where are you going to go? Where are you going? There's nowhere else besides YouTube for video sharing and all of the, you know, features that YouTube has available. There isn't a real alternative, and there's no incentive for YouTube to fix the many problems that have been plaguing the site for so long. YouTube can do horrible decision after terrible decision after awful decision till the cows come home out the wazoo, and it doesn't really affect them because there isn't real competition. The users stay because YouTube does have a de facto monopoly. And I imagine 99% of cases, if you ask somebody, do you think it's a good thing that YouTube has this, you know, position here as a de facto monopoly, they'd say no. But then if you ask that same question to somebody about Steam, they would probably say yes. And it's not hard to see why. It's a very big distinction here, I would say. Steam got to this position by just being better than all of the other competitors. I saw a comment that kind of pointed it pretty well. Steam isn't a monopoly, its competition is just incompetent. That's pretty true.
That's very true.
It's not like Steam has ever, to my knowledge, used its position in the industry to crush the little guy trying to make a startup that's better than Steam or something. All it does is just sit there like a fucking tree. That's all it does. It's been around for so long. It innovated at the very beginning. It cracked the code on what it needed to be the best, and now all they have to do is just not fuck it up. And everyone else that tries to compete in the space just puts out a legitimately worse product, generally speaking. Like I mentioned earlier, GOG I do think offers a different kind of product still in the same space, but having like DRM free copies for older games and stuff is a valuable service to offer.
That is valuable.
And it is something a bit different than what Steam offers. I just personally haven't had great luck with GOG recently. So anyway, yeah, I do actually kind of agree here. This survey was also conducted by what appears to be another platform that's trying to sell developers on the idea to sell with them. So the study itself is already a little weird, but the actual subject matter of Steam being a soft monopoly is an interesting topic, I think. And it is one where I'd say, yeah, Steam is kind of a soft monopoly. But what's crazy is, I don't think that's a bad thing. They are just the best in the industry for a gaming platform. Like, they just made the best platform, and they haven't done anything, you know, scummy and...
Yeah, they cracked the code by simply being consumer first. Not corporate, not profit, not shareholder. I don't think they really need shareholders in the first place, because they make so much fucking money that can actually sustain themselves. You know you're the best company if you do not need shareholders to stay afloat. Because if you need shareholders to stay afloat, that's your own fuck up. That is your own fuck up. Nobody else's.
Shady to like prevent others from beating them. It's just all the others that compete are worse. So people just go to Steam. Anyway, that's really about it. See ya.
Yep. Alright.
Hi again, guys. And do you ever say, "Oh no," like Knuckles the Echidna does in
Oh, no.
video game Sonic Adventure 2? I do, like, from time to time, but I feel like I don't really do it in the inflection he does. It's me going, "Oh no," at consequences is usually how it goes. That was terrible. Yeah, really, you're looking at r/oh no consequences. You know, when people, like, do a thing and it causes something to happen afterwards as a direct effect of the thing they did. This subreddit has, like, old posts from, like, around the internet, but it's also a lot of just cross-posting from other subreddits where people are describing predicaments they're in and what happened after. If you guys enjoy this video, this card at the end will tell you
that's
whether I
fucking
like it.
funny.
Drop a like and subscribe with notifications on so you never miss an upload. Plumber returns to reclog pipe after restaurant refuses to pay bill. 𝙂𝙚𝙣 Plumbing Company owner Joel 𝙂𝙚𝙣 said that the restaurant has a history of being slow to make payments to his business. After refusing to pay the second bill, restaurant surveillance cameras showed the plumber returning the next morning to reclog the pipes. He put a balloon into our grease trap that he's not going to remove until we pay. And if we leave the balloon in there, it would overflow the restaurant with water, dirty water from the grease trap. Basically, we would have had to shut down. 𝙂𝙚𝙣 Plumbing was called to fix the block, and 3 days later it happened again. They called the plumber again, saying it was emergency, and they got charged double the second time. So, like, they paid him the first time, and then, like, when he had to come back and do the same work again, he charged double and they refused to pay. I assumed he was charging an extra $1,000, but charging $150 for overtime sounds reasonable. Yeah, that's not, like, ridiculous.
Yeah, that sounds
I
reasonable.
just wonder, like, what caused it to come back so rapidly? Was it that the thing clogging the pipes wasn't actually solving the issue? Hard to say. I'm not, like, explosively mad at that one. Part of the fun of this game is, like, reading the caption first and trying to think about how bad it could get when you read the original post. Why wouldn't a server serve me after I sat myself? There's no way it wasn't because I skipped the host stand and wasn't assigned one. God, that's a tongue twister, dude. Did you write that on purpose? You asshole. You knew YouTubers like me who pay their rent off of reading was gonna get twisted up and may get minorly inconvenienced by that. Got my first bad review. 1 star. A completely rude staff. I walked out after being scolded by an entitled child for not checking in with her before seating my elderly parents in their patio. Like, I understand the person leaving the review's perspective, at least. Like, your parents are elderly, so you want them to be able to sit down somewhere, but usually it's like a waiting room. We sat for 20 minutes before being told that was why we were being ignored. There are a ton of great restaurants here in blank. Skip this one. They weren't ignored because they sat themselves. They were ignored because no one knew they were there. You're seated by a host for a reason. They inform your server of your presence and keep the pace of new tables flowing properly. And yeah, that's exactly it. There are restaurants where, like, you do seat yourself and they have systems for keeping track of, like, who's sitting where and how to know when to come out to, like, check on someone. And then there are others where you get seated. That's just the way it is. This was a fucking classic, dude. You guys remember 𝙂𝙚𝙣𝙚 just committing crimes all over East Asia, dude? I feel like he was the just asshole face of Kick for a while. And he said, "I'm a young person. I made a mistake." Streamer 𝙂𝙚𝙣𝙚 has apologized to South Koreans as he faces 10 years in jail. I don't actually know what ended up becoming of him after all that. But yeah, he is saying it like he's a teenager.
Here's the thing. He's actually serving those 10 years. America isn't trying to get him back, or like, after they find out what happened, they're like, yeah, you can keep him. Keep him for the 10 years, and then deport him back to us so we can charge him. So we can serve even more time.
And he's also saying it like the fuck-ups he's saying he made a mistake about are like fairly harmless stuff in the grand scheme. He was going up to people in Japan and making comments about the bombings of Hiroshima
Imagine he gets charged for war crimes.
and Nagasaki. He was harassing random streamers and like saying that he was gonna do a bomb threat on a train. And like, to be fair, he did get like the shit kicked out of him multiple times, which was very cathartic, but still. And that's just like what he was doing in Japan a few years back. That doesn't even begin to scratch the surface. Classic oh no consequences Sunday. Lady orders sushi rolls that were not on sale and gets angry she can't return them. I ordered 60 or so sushi rolls because I thought they were on sale, but it turns out to be something else that was on sale. I was really expecting a dramatic reveal right after that, like, oh my god, they were selling like children in the basement. And I'm like, what? But no, he just keeps it pushing. It was something else on sale. But anyways, I was also with my kids, so we were all eating sushi, and then they gave me the bill, and I saw it was over $100, which I didn't have. And since me and my kids hadn't eaten 30 or so of the sushi rolls, I told the waitress I'd give back the sushi for a refund for all the sushi we didn't eat. I'm sorry, how did you expect to, like, return the food? If it's, like, out and open on a plate, you can't put it back and then just give it to a different customer. And if you knew you weren't going to eat, like, all the rolls that, like, the sale was going to get you, why would you even, like, buy that many? I guess to take home for leftovers, but... So then I had to leave my kids at the restaurant and had to drive to the nearest ATM and get enough for the bill? This is not okay. I will not be returning anytime soon. Why couldn't you just bring your kids with you? Like, it's certainly good of you that you were willing to, like, go and get the cash and end up solving the situation, but, like, was the restaurant holding on to your kids as, like, collateral? If so, that's kind of gangster, man. Like, that's a very effective policy, I'll say. 60 sushi rolls for what sounds like over $100 is a steal. Also, does she have like 30 kids? That's a lot of sushi. That's what I'm saying. And I also forgot to mention that I'm rather fond of this subreddit's quirk where the icon for it is Justin Timberlake's mugshot. A few of these are videos where it's almost like instant karma. You get to see the consequences happen in real time and almost immediately. Attempt to push doggo in the water. Okay, who the fuck is still like saying doggo in current year? Are you 12 or a millennial? I should waterboard you so you know what was happening in Iraq.
I'm technically a zillennial-ish, because I was born basically between the eras of millennial and Gen Z. I was born on the century, so I think I'm a centennial or a century baby. So, but at the same time, the line between millennial and Gen Z is kind of iffy. Some say 1998, some say 2000, some say 2001. So on that range, I was born like pretty much in the middle, on the tail end of being in the middle of millennial Gen Z. I think so was my older brother, so it would take it we're both zillennials. Because I technically grew up with millennial tech, including including AOL and dial-up. Oh, my brain's so tired. Like, I grew up with dial-up and AOL in my early years, but when I got into my teens, we pretty much moved to Gmail, YouTube, and all that. So yeah.
I don't even know if he's like trying to push the dog or just roughly petting it like a dipshit, but that dog is absolutely trying to push him in. Oh my god, I thought he was gonna go all the way in. You only fell like knee deep too, bro. You don't even have to change your shirt or like wash your hair after this. You just gotta dry off. So dramatic. The doggo knew what it was doing. Captain Tap Tap, you are getting waterboarded too. Okay, here's like one of the few I was able to find that was indigenous to the subreddit. Original content not cross-posted. Now everyone knows what a nice guy he is. At some point in my late 20s, I matched with a guy on a dating app and he messaged me while I was at work. He waited a whole 3 hours for me to respond before he started sending berating messages, starting with, "Sorry, I'm not good looking enough for your shallow ass," followed by messages calling me a and a bitch across the next 3 days. I like to imagine that it was a lot of messages, but the only 2 words ever said were, and bitch. They swapped back and forth between the insult of their choice, had it automated so they could even do it in their sleep. Either that or they just stayed up, did the sleep deprivation so they could do it manually. I'm fed up with men who think they can treat women like garbage without consequence. I set out for revenge. It took me a while to find his socials, but I eventually did so and sent a screenshot of his messages to his mother on Facebook Messenger. Oh, dude, that is like some effective shit. Like, you take the way that a dude treats women and share it with like the women already close to him in his life and like, ugh. I didn't get a response, and without being friends with her on Facebook, I couldn't see whether she had actually received or seen my message at all. So I sent it to his sister. She told me he wasn't that kind of guy and was dealing with a lot, even going so far as to say he was her hero. I told her he obviously is that kind of guy to get better heroes. I mean, to her, you're like one random stranger who is like talking shit about someone like who she's probably looked up to for a while. Not saying it didn't happen, but like, I don't think that message from you is going to be changing her mind. I then posted the screenshot in a public post and tagged him in it. This prompted him to send a sniveling apology message via Facebook Messenger, begging me to take the post down. I did not take it down, nor did I respond to his message, so he couldn't tell whether I'd read it or not. Very satisfying. This is absolutely like an r/petty revenge type post. I'm like just generally not about like blasting like your personal business to the public, like unprompted. But I mean, like, it is your prerogative, I suppose.
You know what would be even more effective than just putting it publicly? Find his workplace and send it to his boss. Get him fired. It would be better if his boss is a woman as well. Adrian would be like, "What the fuck is this shit? Why the fuck would you send that? Blah 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 blah." But yeah. Ooh.
A classic oh no consequences. Lady pays her babysitter extremely low wages and whines on a mom group when she quits. From 6 years ago. Damn, this has been a while in the making. I am livid. This person has been babysitting for me for 7 months now. $100 a week. The hours are easy, 9 a.m. to 5 p.m. like a regular fucking job. Okay, and dude, if I had to like raise kids like a full-time shift a day, I would also go a little insane. And the kids are basically angels. They sleep most of the day anyway at this age. You know what? I'm gonna be honest. Your experience might not be all the same as it is for the person who has to actually be there the first 8 hours of the day. I get a text from her saying she's applying to Walmart and that she can't afford to work for me anymore. Is she working 9 to 5 for you like every day and only getting $100 a week? Because that is like absurdly low for like the hourly wage. That's like $2 and some change an hour. That's like a third of federal minimum wage, if that. She can't afford to work for me anymore. She's not paying me anything. I'm paying her. What do you mean afford? As in like I need more money because I can't do it. Have fun working longer hours for less pay, you ungrateful bitch. Again,
You get more
$100
pay.
a week, mind you. That's what we're talking about. Typically, a person who does this amount of the like watching the kids, wouldn't they be like considered a nanny? And I'm pretty sure that's supposed to pay a lot better. And now I'm stuck without childcare. All the daycares in my area are super expensive, and every time I have posted an ad on a local buy and sell, people have left really mean comments. I'm getting desperate. I can't believe she'd put me in the spot. This is risking my livelihood. I thought she was my friend. She was risking her livelihood working with you, dumbass. And of course nobody wants.
Shoot. Your coworkers are not your friend. And who you work for or whoever you employ, they're not your friend. They're your basically asset.
Wants the job. That's
If you're not treating them right, they're probably gonna quit.
probably why.
Also, $100 a week. Minimum wage. I do even more minimum wage than before it was raised to $15. So I think it was like $9.50 an hour. And I was paid more than whatever this bitch was paying. I would have slapped her in the fucking face.
She got out. For those that want the comments with the response from the babysitter. Oh shit, we got the other side?
Ooh.
Oh yeah, it is $2.50 an hour. I'm sorry, but working 40 hours a week at 100, that's $2.50 an hour. She will be making more at Walmart. With the taxes she'll have to pay, this was all under the table easy money. I don't think that's something you want to say out loud. Now she'll have to take a real grown-up job, and I bet she'll learn to regret it. She should feel ashamed leaving me high and dry. Girl, is this true? I blocked her. She won't be able to see this. I don't need her in my life anymore. No, you dumb bitch. You did not block me. I can see everything you wrote. I will make more money working less hours at Walmart without your whiny kids that scream half the day. Plus the job has benefits, taxes, won't drive my earnings down to $2.50 an hour. Your math is wrong. I tried to work for you as long as I could, but then I saw your new Lexus and I asked for a raise and you said you couldn't afford it. Holy shit, they tried to work it out. I saw right through you. You're using me for cheap labor because I was a friend. I refuse to not be valued. My labor has worth and I deserve to not struggle financially. I worked a good long 9 months for you. Yes, 9, not 7, because of the 2 those months were unpaid. Holy shit. Yeah, no, you really scammed the fuck out of this kid. They were like watching after your kid for as long as it took to carry them in the womb. But I refuse to continue this cycle. It's like the cycle of abuse. It's like you must not hit your child even if your dad hits you. You are rude and entitled and your kids deserve better. I hate your kids.
Exactly.
I know you're rich. That Lexus is fucking ugly anyways, and even though I hate your kids, I still wouldn't wish you upon them. Which is a shame because you're legally tied to them. Listen here, bitch. The Lexus is a rental. I could afford to pay you a little more, but for what? Watching over 2 sleeping babies and twiddling your thumbs? Oh my fucking god, dude. If the babysitting job of the kid was really that easy.
Here's the thing. I used to be an in-hospice caregiver, which basically is legally being called a nurse while babysitting the elderly, which I enjoy being around them. I actually really do, and like to just provide them company, help them out with chores and whatnot, and help them run errands as well. And each and every time, each of the clients I had, they said they praised me for pretty much going above and beyond, because I was pretty much taught to go above and beyond to help. Not so I don't really do that so much nowadays, because well, I don't have the same energy as when I was younger, so there's that. But yeah, that's pretty much one of the only jobs I actually enjoyed, really. But that entitled bitch and a half. I don't understand. I do not understand. Why the fuck you think that $100 is going to afford anyone anything? Like, again, I used to work at a grocery store. But my first job was at a grocery store, being paid $9.50 an hour. I made more money there than anything that this bitch is willing to pay. Even if this bitch decides to take her kids to daycare, they're probably gonna reject her because of that, because of the post.
I mean, like, I might have looked into doing, like, some, like, remote work or, like, online shit. Or I just, like, bring my Steam Deck. Forget it. Have fun working as a cashier on your feet all day. Getting yelled at by your manager for your shit attitude and regretting the cushy job you had here. Where you could watch TV all day and do your online course using our Wi-Fi. Should I send you the bill for that? What about the water usage for when you stay over? Are you fucking serious? Like,
are you serious?
I send you the invoice? I made you dinner for multiple occasions when you had to stay late. Should I send you the bill for that? I have been welcoming, and you have been greedy. So much for community and friends when all they want is cash. Get the fuck off my page. Good luck getting someone to work for pennies, bitch. Like, you found maybe the one person who was willing to do the work you were asking of them for as long as they did. And they asked for a raise a single time because they did not want to, like, ruin the supposed good thing they had going. And when you can't meet their demands, they go fucking look on the job market. It's pretty simple.
That's pretty simple. Pretty much the job market is competitive. Not only for employees, but also employers. Because for any employers watching, if you treat your employees well, they are going to stay for as long as possible. Trust me, that I've experienced that. There's like 4 jobs in my entire career of working that I would have liked to stay. It was being an in-hospice caregiver, traffic control crew member, I think it was one of the one of the gas station convenience stores that I worked for, and my current job that I would like to stay for as long as possible. And employers, if you treat your employees like shit, if you pay them shit wages, or if you just treat them like shit in general, they're eventually gonna look elsewhere. And a better opportunity is going to be presenting themselves, and pretty much they will deserve better. I think there's only two jobs that ever was treated like shit. I think it was, it was Burger King and Walmart. I'm not gonna say which Walmart or which Burger King, but yeah, I was treated like shit in both of them. So I vowed myself to say, no, I am not. If the pay is good, if the work culture is good, I'm gonna stay. Because nowadays, whenever I go for a job interview, I'm looking around. I'm actively scanning everywhere, seeing how the employees are treated. I could just go right down to business, like, hey, what is your starting hourly wage, and what is your raise after probation period, or do you even have any raises at all? And I also ask the legally binding questions as well. Do you offer a 401k? Do you offer health insurance? Do you have a compounding raise for if an employee goes above and beyond? And I think what's the other legally binding question? Oh yeah, I asked them to show me their proper licenses to see if they're even legal to if they're operating legally. I was like, hey, okay, let me see your OSHA licenses, and let me see your general work safety license, other work safety license, as well as required by state law. Usually they are willing to show that they're operating legally. If the ones I don't show it, I just say, okay, I'm gonna get up. So I just get up and say, all right, good luck talking to OSHA about this. Goodbye. Oh yeah. Usually I just ask for evidence and you'll find. One of the random questions that I've recently started asking is, okay, can you show me your fire extinguisher and see if it's at the date, if it's within a usage date and it's not damaged in any way? And that's the key. That's the key portion that I see. But usually when I walk in, I'm looking to see the cleanliness of the establishment. I also look to see if there's any cracks, any leakage, if there's anything that screams red flags. If anything, if I catch any red flags in the establishment, I say, okay, let's just get an interview over with. Say, oh, yeah, I'm happy. I hope to hear from you again, knowing that I'm not going to be accepting it because I catch red flags, and there's several red flags in the establishment. There's quite a few job interviews that I went to where I catch that there were several red flags, including what was it? I think I had a job interview for Domino's, being for a delivery driver. Two major red flags. So, one, they didn't have their own cars. They wanted employees to use their own cars for delivery. Two, $10 an hour. That's not gonna pay shit. And also three, this big one. This is the really big one. Their compensation for their mileage compensation was so fucking low. My jaw dropped. My jaw physically dropped. My eyebrows. What was it again? My eyebrows went all pissy, basically. And I said, are you fucking serious? Are you fucking serious? And I said, yeah, that's how I pay. Like, okay, yeah, thank you for informing me. He knew, so that manager knew I was already out because of that. They offered me a job and it was like, I already, and by the time they offered me a job, I already had like, I was hired at like a better place, a better compensation, better work culture, whatnot. And like, sorry, I already got a job, but thank you for the offer. Yeah, if employers, if you're seeing this, your establishment better be good, your work culture better be good, and your compensation for whatever you require better be good, or else you're just gonna pretty much have a high turnover rate.
Typing on your phone for a full 5 seconds while driving? Oh, no, this can't be good. And slow-ass single-finger typing, too. Dude, and like the phone didn't even like stay on the screen for her to keep typing on it. Do you imagine it like broke as a result and now she can't even use it? I will say, when you hit even like a curb or some shit, or like you think you may have like gotten into an accident, there is like just this sinking feeling in your gut. I've had it like a few times growing up, so thankfully it was never like anything major, but I can at least relate to the expression she has on her face, just the instant regret of like, oh, I shouldn't have fucking done that. I'm such an idiot. Like the consequences were immediate, but I feel like the lesson got across about as fast as well. I'm just hoping she didn't crash into anybody else, so like she's really the only one who has to deal with that. Okay, this was cross-posted. Man tries to litter, gets consequences. Oh, that was just fucking dumb, dude. Like,
That was
I'm
just
trying to figure
fucking
out what the
dumb.
hell he was even drinking. Is he just drinking liquor out the bottle, man? That don't look like water or soda or anything. Like, that looks like it's like a brand label. And if he's like impaired because, you know, he's fucking drunk, then it's no wonder like why he didn't realize his window was still up, man. Holy fuck, that's incredible. I want to see it break again. Show me. Oh,
Lol.
dude. And again, like that sinking feeling, like when you accidentally like do something to your car and it's like, ah, shit, fuck. Was it worth the minor convenience of that, man? Like, it would have been simpler to put it back in the cup holder. It really would have been easier. Trying to do less work, and it ended up creating, like, a bigger headache for him. Oh, fuck no, dude. There's no way this one's real. There's no way. Gee, I wonder why my eyes are so irritated. I've been doing urine drops in my eyes and holding a glass of urine over my eyes for short durations throughout the day. My eyes are getting red and discharging large amounts of pus. I was wondering if anyone else went through this. I am gonna be honest, I don't think a single soul has. At least not intentionally. Like,
Hold on. Are you serious? Are you actually serious? Please don't tell me this is real. Alright. I don't understand. Hold on, what if I... Yeah. I don't understand. Why?
I would expect this conversation to get around where it's like, my eyes are getting red and pus is
That's
coming out
why.
of them. Anyone else have this happen? And people in the comments would like be going down a list of symptoms and it's like, have you been putting anything new in your eyes recently? Oh, well, recently I've just been giving them golden showers every single day for
What
5
the
minutes at a
fuck?
time. It just jaw dropped to the floor like, I think I found the culprit. And the award for worst censor job of all time goes to Carnivore for autoimmune. He didn't fucking try, dude. I have been following a carnivore diet for 2 years. Initially, my hair grew thicker, but recently it has been falling out. For the last 3 weeks, it has been coming out in handfuls. Any idea what's wrong? I haven't had much of an appetite recently. I take magnesium, potassium, natural B vitamins, and CLO. Also iodine and selenium. My diet has mostly been raw, fatty, grass-fed beef, raw milk, and eggs. I do put honey in my coffee. I am hypothyroid, but controlled with desiccated thyroid. Jesus Christ, dude. This is so fucking bad. That sounds disgusting. Like, raw meat is just unappetizing to me in general.
Exactly.
It's slimy and wet and not at all savory in the way that I want it to be. Ah, dude, Jesus, that one makes my stomach rumble. I'm gonna wrap this one up here. If you guys enjoyed that card I mentioned should be on screen. And be sure to drop a like and subscribe with notifications on. Anyways, this has been Quite, and I'll see y'all next time.
Fuck. Microformon.
Invisible Sesame. On July 17, 2016, 15-year-old Natasha Ednan Laprousse arrived at Heathrow Airport with her father and friend for a dream vacation to Nice, France. Before boarding, she stopped at a pret-a-manger cafe in Terminal 5 and purchased an artichoke, olive, and tapenade baguette. Natasha had severe food allergies since childhood, particularly...
Hi again, guys. And do you ever say, oh no, like Knuckles the Echidna does?
Alright, let's...
Invisible Sesame. On July 17, 2016, 15-year-old Natasha Ednan Laprousse arrived at Heathrow Airport with her father and friend for a dream vacation to Nice, France. Before boarding, she stopped at a pret-a-manger cafe in Terminal 5 and purchased an artichoke, olive, and tapenade baguette. Natasha had severe food allergies since childhood, particularly to sesame seeds. Before boarding, she stopped Natasha carefully, as she had been taught to do all her life. No allergens were unknown till within sesame seeds had been baked directly into the dough. Natasha's eye became more limited as limited medical supply requesting priority. Passengers watched in horror when Natasha Ednan Laprousse dead. The cause? Anaphylactic shock from undeclared sesame. Her death sparked outrage across the UK, revealing that food regulations allowed allergens to go unlisted if ingredients were added during the production process. In 2021, Natasha's law was enacted, requiring full ingredient labeling on all prepackaged foods in the United Kingdom. Murder over coffee. On January 6, 2016, a 27-year-old Indonesian woman, 𝙂𝙚 𝙤𝙤 met her friends at Olivier Cafe in Grand Indonesia Shopping Mall in Jakarta. Myrna, a newlywed who had recently returned from a honeymoon, was looking forward to catching up with college friends Jessica Kumala Wongso and Hani. Jessica arrived first and ordered a Vietnamese iced coffee for Myrna before the others reached the cafe. When Myrna arrived, the coffee was waiting. Security cameras captured the moment as she took her first sip. Immediately, Myrna commented on the bitter taste. Within seconds, her body stiffened. She began to convulse violently, foam spilling from her mouth. Her eyes rolled back as she slumped in her chair. Staff rushed over as Myrna fell to the floor.
What the
her body
Cyanide!
with seizures.
Cyanide!
Bystanders attempted to help as Hani screamed for someone to call an ambulance. Witnesses later recalled Jessica remaining oddly calm while chaos unfolded around her. Cyanide works with brutal efficiency in the human body. Paramedics arrived and found where doctors fought to save. Just under an hour after that first sip, 𝙂𝙚 𝙤𝙤 was pronounced dead. Police analysis found 298 milligrams of cyanide in the coffee, enough to kill several adults. Investigators discovered Jessica had harbored a grudge against Myrna for criticizing her previous relationship. CCTV footage showed Jessica placing it. In October 2016, after a televised trial that captivated Indonesia, Jessica Kumala Wongso was convicted of premeditated murder and sentenced to 20 years in prison. Birthday dinner that ended in silence. On September 13th, 2020.
You know what? Even though this may... Why are people racing down the goddamn street? I don't understand. This is why I don't drive at night. Because stupid people like that, it most makes me scared to drive at night. Even if I need to get something. I'm scared that I'm going to get into an accident because someone else was being stupid. Anywho. I just... Dude, what the fuck? Oh yeah, as I was saying, Probably. Oh, okay, hold on, let me bring this. Okay, so probably. I have an idea. I don't condone this government doing this, but I have an idea. What if? What if the same? What if all these criminals, if they ever receive a capital punishment, they should be put to sleep the same way they put others to sleep. It'll be an eye for an eye kind of thing.
21, Chris Russ celebrated his 57th birthday at an upscale steakhouse in Atlanta, Georgia. He was surrounded by friends and family, enjoying the evening he had looked forward to for weeks. Chris ordered his favorite, a thick-cut bison steak, rare. The restaurant was known for its generous portions and quality meat. The meal was going well, conversation flowed, glasses clinked in toast to another year of life. Then, mid-sentence, Chris stopped talking. His hand moved to his throat, the universal sign of choking. At first, those around him thought he might be coughing. Seconds later, his face began to turn red. A friend at the table realized what was happening and asked, "Are you choking?" Chris couldn't speak. He couldn't breathe. A piece of bison steak.
Why would you ask, "Are you choking?" If they look like they're choking, fucking help them. Don't be a fucking dumb and saying, "Oh, are you choking?" I'll fucking, even if I was choking, someone asked me, "Are you choking?" I'd punch them in the fucking face. Am I fucking choking? You fucking dumbass.
Roughly the size of a golf ball, had become lodged in his windpipe, creating a complete blockage. One of his dinner companions immediately attempted the Heimlich maneuver. The abdominal thrust failed to dislodge the meat. Chris's face changed from red to purple as oxygen deprivation set in. A restaurant staff member trained in first aid tried next, also without success. Within 4 minutes without oxygen, brain cells begin to die. By the time paramedics arrived 6 minutes after the first signs of distress, Chris had collapsed and lost consciousness. They used specialized equipment to extract the meat, but the blockage had been in place too long. Chris was rushed to Grady Memorial Hospital in critical condition. Scans revealed severe hypoxic brain injury, damage caused by lack of oxygen. For 3 days, he remained on life support while his family maintained vigil. The birthday celebration that should have marked another year of life instead marked its end. On September 16th, doctors confirmed Chris Russ had no meaningful brain activity. His family made the painful decision to remove life support. What began as a simple bite of food had ended a life in less than a week. The medical examiner listed the cause of death as complications of asphyxia due to choking on food. Jelly that killed. On November 10th,
You know, the developers of the human body should really fix that oversight. They really should.
2018,
All right.
67-year-old Edward Eddie Casson was admitted to Royal Bolton Hospital in England. He had a complex medical history including dysphagia, difficulty swallowing, and had previously suffered a stroke that further compromised his ability to safely consume certain foods. His medical notes clearly specified that he required a carefully textured diet and that jelly, a seemingly innocent dessert, posed a particular danger to him. 3 days after admission, a healthcare assistant served elderly the gel called fever of 38 points of traction is dangerous because the foreign material creates an ideal breeding ground for bagging oxygen 100%. On November 15th, 5 days after the jelly was served, Eddie Casson suffered respiratory failure. His lungs could no longer deliver sufficient oxygen to his organs. At 3:47 p.m., he was pronounced dead. A subsequent coroner's inquest ruled that his death was contributed to by neglect, finding that hospital staff had failed to follow clearly documented dietary restrictions. A spoonful of jelly, meant to provide comfort, had instead delivered a death.
Yeah, you would blame nurse. At the same time, I've seen nurses who are busy with fucking, here's the thing, the fucking up to 10, maybe 15 patients. One nurse dealing with 15 patients. This is an industry-wide scandal. It is actually very common for a nurse to deal probably with many patients, maybe 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. At worst, maybe 15. This is an industry-wide scandal and there's no clear fix for it. Especially the greediness of these goddamn companies.
The lung that mushroom ate. On May 11th, 2020, in rural South Korea, a previously healthy elderly man collected wild mushrooms from the mountainside near his home. The retired farmer often gathered seasonal vegetables and fungi to supplement his meals. That evening, he boiled the mushrooms and consumed them for dinner, unaware he had made a fatal identification error. 6 hours after his meal, the first symptoms appeared. Violent vomiting began suddenly, followed by profuse diarrhea. The man initially dismissed it as simple food poisoning that would pass. By morning, the gastrointestinal symptoms had become severe enough that his son drove him to a local hospital. Initial blood tests showed elevated liver enzymes, with ALT and AST levels over 5 times normal limits, indicating acute liver injury. Doctors suspected mushroom poisoning and began supportive treatments. What happened next baffled the medical team. Within 48 hours, the patient developed a persistent cough and increasing shortness of breath. A chest CT scan revealed something horrifying. The man's left lung showed extensive consolidation. Areas where the normally air-filled spaces had become filled with fluid. By the 4th day, the lung tissue had begun to necrotize, literally die and decompose inside his body. The toxin was destroying his lung cell by cell. The patient was transferred to a specialized toxicology unit in Seoul.
Jesus
By day
Christ.
6, his oxygen levels had dropped so critically that he required intubation and mechanical ventilation. The left lung continued to deteriorate despite aggressive treatment. Tissue samples confirmed.
Wait. So maybe I think I heard of this on another YouTube channel. So basically, in a way that if an organ receives significant damage, not through trauma, but through like a form, like what was it again? Fuck, what was shit? There's something foreign that enters the particular organ itself. The organ, it could basically what the patient is suffering from cellular necrosis, which basically means the person is rotting from the inside out while they're still alive.
The presence of Photostroma cornudiae toxins, one of the deadliest mushrooms in Asia. On day 9, surgeons performed an emergency pneumonectomy, complete removal of the left lung, as a desperate measure to prevent the spread of necrosis. The extracted lung was blackened, liquefied in areas, and barely recognizable as human tissue. The operation came too late. Multiple organ systems had already absorbed the toxin. The patient's remaining lung, liver, and kidneys began to fail simultaneously. Despite continuous dialysis and maximum life support measures, he died on day 13. The mushroom he had mistaken for an edible variety contained trichothecene mycotoxins,
Jesus.
compounds so potent they had once been investigated as biological weapons. A date that turned fatal. On May 7th, 2019, 23-year-old Allison Pickering agreed to a first date with a classmate at a trendy seafood restaurant in Boston. The senior at Boston University was just 3 days away from graduation, eagerly anticipating the environmental science career she had spent years preparing for. Allison had lived with a severe peanut allergy since childhood and always carried 2 EpiPens in her purse. When ordering, she did what she had done hundreds of times. Allison felt the first warning sign and cleared that it had temporarily slowed the reaction, but the allergen continued circulating in oxygen mask rhythm. The emergency room team worked frantically, performing an emergency tracheotomy to bypass her swollen airways. Despite their efforts, Allison Pickering's heart stopped at 9:43 p.m. After 20 minutes of resuscitation attempts, she was pronounced dead. Her graduation gown would hang unworn, her future erased by a hidden ingredient in a restaurant meal she thought was safe. The leftover Bonaloo feast.
I heard of the case. I heard of that case. The restaurant was actually charged, and had the entire restaurant shut down. Because they pretty much, not only because of their neglect with dietary needs, but also the kitchen was fucking disgusting. The kitchen was utterly disgusting. Holy shit! I can't describe what I've seen. I think it was. I'm not sure if the YouTube video is still up or not, but I can't describe what I've seen. It's just, if Gordon Ramsay walked in there, he would have called the FDA to shut down the place. That's how bad it was.
July 17th, 2018, the Bonaloo Festival brought vibrant celebrations to the streets of Hyderabad, India. The annual Hindu festival honored the goddess Mahakali with elaborate offerings of food and rituals. 46-year-old Srinivas Yadav, a local shopkeeper, participated in the festivities with his extended family, preparing traditional dishes including mutton, chicken, and specially prepared goat intestines. The celebration continued late into the night. When it ended, leftover food.
I tried goat. It's not my favorite. So I was like, eh. I repent I think it was fuck. let me say this. Back when I was in the Keystone State, one of the delicacies for Thanksgiving was actually deer. Deer alongside turkey, sometimes ham, like an actual like full ass pig, full ass roasted pig.
Was packed away. The temperature that night remained above 30 degrees Celsius, dangerously warm for storing meat. The following day, at lunch, Srinivas and 3 relatives reheated and consumed the leftover feast. The
Oh
meat
no.
had been refrigerated briefly, then sat at room temperature for hours before being warmed again. Perfect conditions.
Oh my fucking god, why the fuck? I don't understand why some people don't know how to store food properly. You gotta make sure that your refrigerator is at a constant safe level. Below 40 degrees Fahrenheit. Actually, way below 40 degrees Fahrenheit. 30 degrees is the yellow zone. 40 degrees is the red zone. Between 40 and 60 degrees is the red zone. Fahrenheit, actually. Yeah, talking Fahrenheit. But yeah.
For bacterial.
I'm not sure about other countries, but here in America, and temperature for food is measured in Fahrenheit, while temperature in PCs is measured in Celsius, while temperature in the human body is measured in Fahrenheit, while I think it was AC is measured in Fahrenheit as well. What else could be Celsius? Oh yeah, half of the nursing industry uses Fahrenheit, and the other half uses Celsius. So basically half of the nursing industry uses metric system, while the other half uses the imperial system. Yeah, it's all kinds of screwy.
Growth. Just 4 hours later, Srinivas experienced severe abdominal cramps. The pain came in waves, doubling him over. Soon after, violent vomiting began, followed by profuse watery diarrhea. His relatives, 2 brothers-in-law and a nephew, developed similar symptoms. By evening, all 4 men were severely dehydrated. Srinivas's condition deteriorated faster than the others. His vomiting became tinged with blood. His skin turned cold and clammy as his blood pressure dropped. Family members rushed all 4 men to Gandhi Hospital around midnight, with Srinivas barely conscious upon arrival. Medical tests revealed Bacillus cereus food poisoning, a particularly aggressive form that produces 2 distinct toxins. One causes vomiting by directly attacking the stomach lining. The other produces a toxin that remains stable even through reheating and triggers dangerous intestinal inflammation. By morning, Srinivas had lost over 12% of his body's fluid volume. His
Jesus
kidneys began to
Christ.
fail as they struggled to process the bacterial toxins. His heart rate climbed to 160 beats per minute
Jesus
as his body
fuck.
fought to maintain blood pressure. Despite aggressive IV fluid replacement and antibiotics, his organs continued shutting down one by one. At 6:17 the next morning, less than 18 hours after consuming the meal, Srinivas Yadav went into cardiac arrest. Resuscitation attempts failed. The other 3 men survived after several days of intensive treatment. Health officials later confirmed that improper storage between serving and reheating had allowed bacteria to multiply to lethal levels in the festival food. If you want to see more
Oh my god, that's what scares me sometimes. Is if I go to someone's place, I investigate whether their fridge is at proper temperature or not. And if I notice there's food out, and I ask them, okay, when's the last time you put that food in the fridge? If they say I don't know, I tell them I'm not eating it. And here's the thing. I think there's one time I came to work so exhausted and I had brought food from work. And I was intending to put it in the fridge. I took some out, eat it. I completely forgot to put it in the fridge. So and like in the morning I saw like, oh fuck, it's all spoiled. Let me throw it out. Sometimes all that food went to waste, and like, fuck me.
videos like this, click the video on screen.
Ah.
The
Ooh.
Nightstare is a new horror mod that adds 5 unique entities, but there's one rule. Don't look at them. The mod lives up to its name.
Night Scare?
During the day,
What was it?
rule. The Nightstare is a new
The Night Stare.
other Minecraft.
No, fuck it. Mandarin. Oh, come on. I want to see this. Download Night Stare Forge 1.20.1. Okay. Oh, okay. Point 20.1. Edit. Well, I'm installing that mod. Because why not? Why not? Why not have another version? Games, documents. Documents. Okay, hold on real quick. I need to use the bathroom real quick. I'm back. I just need to do number 2. Yeah. I forget, is this? Forge 1.20.1 mods. The night stare. Alright, got it. There's 10. Alright, there you go.
World. But as soon as night falls, I start falling from the sky. Corrupted players stare from the distance. Just remember the one rule: don't look at them. If you guys are new around here and enjoy this video is brought to you as I'm trying to reach 200,000 subscribers by the end of the year. This video is brought to you by Red Magic. Hey guys, just playing my Red Magic Pro design. Brought to you by Red Magic.
What the fuck is going on? There we go.
Of the week. This is a mod that changes it all again for the millionth time. Now, but in all seriousness, this mod does look pretty cool, so I'm excited. We spawned in a great location. We spawned in the plains. There's literally a village over there. I don't know how much, like, this, they couldn't get any better. This is the best place ever. Also, I don't know how many of you guys sat through that sponsor video, but yeah, thank you to my shout out to my little sister for helping me record.
I should too.
That was fun. But yeah, you guys should see more sponsors on this channel. So you'll know. Sick. Sorry about that, guys. I'm not really sick. It's just more of a sinus thing. Like I don't really have a. I don't know. Like I don't feel anything else. It's literally just my sinuses. Maybe it's not the wisest decision, but I've still been smoking while sick. But I mean, like I'm alive, so what am I gonna complain?
I wonder
about?
why.
I don't know, whatever. Probably doesn't. Oh, what the heck? Is this a cave? Wait, does it get better? It legit might get better. There's no way. Yeah, it probably doesn't also help that I've been screaming my ass off whenever I play Battlefield 2, because I play it like pretty much every day, and every time I'm on there, dude, I get like, I don't know, like something happens to me. It's like something awakens inside of me, you know? Anyways, but yeah, I found this mod recently, and I'm interested in it because it has 5 entities, and they're all unique in the sense that they don't act like dwellers, so I definitely want to see what's up with that, and just, I don't know. I just want to see if it's a good mod. It looks like a good mod. The models look pretty fun and simple, you know what I mean? Like, I always like a simple model just because whenever something's too complicated, it feels un-Minecrafty. At least I think for...
I wanted to find out for myself real quick. I want to find out for myself. Oh, come on, YouTube. Don't fuck me up with me. Alright. Alright, help. The true scale. Supposed to be true scale. When does it? No. Okay. Okay, let's see what this is about. Alright. Here you go.
Big 4 Ice Caves Incident. On 31st July 2010, the Tam family set out for a perfect day in the wilderness. They were visiting the Big 4 Ice Caves in Snohomish County, Washington. Grace Tam was an 11-year-old girl with a sweet nature and bright intelligence. She walked eagerly with her parents up the 1-mile hiking trail. The Big 4 Ice Caves were one of Washington State's most popular destinations. Thousands of families visited each year to see the spectacular ice formations. When they arrived, the massive walls of blue-white ice were breathtaking. Large yellow warning signs were posted everywhere. The signs clearly stated that visitors should not enter the ice caves. The ice formations were incredibly dangerous and constantly shifting. The Tam family was responsible and heeded the warnings. They settled on a rock formation about 15 feet from the cave entrance. This seemed like a safe distance. Grace sat contentedly between her parents that danger lurked above them, high above the cave several tons. Without any warning sound, the massive ice formation suddenly broke free. It plummeted directly toward where Grace sat with her parents. Grace had no time to react or escape. The sound of impact was tremendous. Grace disappeared beneath tons of falling ice. Her parents were sitting just inches away. Complete strangers visiting the caves immediately rushed to help. They began performing CPR on Grace desperately. Some visitors ran back down the trail for help, though cell phone service didn't work at the caves. They had to drive 7 more miles to call emergency services. Professional rescue workers had to carry equipment up. Once heroic efforts, it was too late. Grace Tam succumbed to her crushing pelvic injuries. Her small body
Jesus
could not
Christ.
withstand the tons of ice that fell on her. The 11-year-old girl who began the day with excitement was gone. 𝙂 Caverns Incident. On the 24th of April, 1930,
I believe that after that, they actually have a fence perimeter around the cave system, so no one can actually get hurt like that ever again.
a massive explosion shook the hills of New York. It was 5 o'clock in the morning. Workers at the North American Cement Company quarry detonated 7.5 tons of dynamite. The blast was so powerful it could be heard for miles. Shockwaves spread through the bedrock, creating hairline cracks in the limestone. These cracks reached down toward 𝙂 Caverns below. The quarry workers had no idea what they had unleashed. Poisonous gases trapped in the rock for thousands of years began seeping through the cracks. Carbon monoxide and hydrogen sulfide flowed into the cave system. Owen Wallace, a 27-year-old chief electrician, arrived at 𝙂 Caverns for work. John Sagendorf, a 45-year-old company secretary, came with him. The two men entered the elevator and descended into the cave. They had no idea deadly gases were filling the passages below. Wallace and Sagendorf began a routine maintenance work near the Bell of Moscow formation. Wallace worked on electrical connections while Sagendorf checked safety barriers. Neither man noticed the invisible poison building around them. The first symptoms were barely noticeable, slight shortness of breath and mild dizziness. But the gases were attacking their bodies. Their vision blurred and coordination failed. Both men collapsed in the depths of the cavern. The invisible poison had taken their lives. On the surface, the 25-year-old cave guide grew worried. The two men should have returned by now. He decided to go down and look for them. The guide discovered their collapsed bodies near the Bell of Moscow formation. Then he realized something terrifying. He was experiencing the same symptoms: dizziness, difficult breathing, and growing weakness. He abandoned any hope of helping them and ran for his life. Fighting the poison, he stumbled toward the elevator. Each step was a battle to barely survive the gas poisoning. Rescue teams with oxygen equipment retrieved Wallace and Sagendorf's bodies later that morning. Medical examination confirmed both men died from poisonous gases caused by the quarry blast. 10-Mile Pit Incident. On the 20th of March 2002, two young friends decided to explore a cave. Joel Brooks was 24 years old and Josh Allman was 23. They were in Knoxville, Tennessee at a cave called 10-Mile Pit. The cave was located right next to a suburban golf course. A few days earlier, they had discovered the cave entrance with the gate open. On Wednesday evening, they decided to explore deeper, but they made a critical mistake. They brought only a rope and a flashlight, no helmets, no harnesses, no proper safety equipment. 10-Mile Pit had a 75-foot deep entrance with 4 dangerous sections: a 15-foot free drop, a 40-foot mud slope, a 10-foot climb, and a final 20-foot drop to a stream. The two men began their descent into the darkness. They successfully navigated the first 3 sections. Josh Allman was near the top of the final 20-foot drop when disaster struck. He suddenly lost his grip on the rock. In a fraction of a second, he lost control completely. Allman tumbled down the slope, bouncing against rock and mud. He went over the final drop and fell through the air. He landed hard beside the stream at the bottom. The impact was brutal. Brooks called down to his friend from above. Allman responded but was badly injured. He had hurt his shoulder and head and couldn't climb back up. Brooks climbed down to try and help, but Allman's injuries were too severe for him to climb. Brooks made the difficult choice to leave and get help. He climbed back up the 75-foot pit alone. When he emerged, he ran across the golf course fairway. Golfers watched in surprise as the mud-covered man sprinted past. Brooks reached a house and called called emergency services. The Knox County Cave Rescue Team was dispatched.
Mm.
Professional rescuers descended with expert equipment. They placed Almond on a backboard and secured him in a rescue litter. The team used mechanical systems to haul him up slowly. The entire operation took about 2 hours. Finally, they brought Almond to the surface alive. He was rushed to the hospital with head and shoulder injuries and broken fingers. Remarkably, Josh Almond survived. Illinois Cave Incident. On December 3rd, 2011, 4 experienced cavers entered a remote...
It's a good thing he survived. I'm glad he survived, because holy shit, that is fucking terrifying. Caves are just terrifying to me. They're just terrifying. Not going to a cave. Never ever going to a cave. Can't convince me. You can never convince me to go into a cave. No.
Illinois cave for a challenging expedition. Chad McCain, Todd McCartney, Ralph Sawyer, and Jason Kern planned to explore water-filled passages with dangerously low airspace. McCartney was 44 years old and the veteran who had explored these passages before. McCain was the newcomer to this specific cave system. McCartney wore a neoprene hoodie over his wetsuit for extra cold water protection. The 4 men worked their way toward the water-filled passage in the cave. When they reached their target, they saw dark, cold water with barely any airspace above. McCain volunteered to lead upstream despite being new to this cave. The water was 3 to 4 feet deep, but the low ceiling forced him to crawl awkwardly. He held his helmet in his hand and pressed his face against the rocky ceiling. The airspace dropped to 6 inches, then to only 3 inches above the water surface. McCain hesitated at this dangerous section with essentially zero margin for error. McCartney saw McCain's hesitation and made a fatal decision to take the lead. He moved past McCain and continued upstream into unexplored territory.
Oh, no.
McCartney pressed his nose against the ceiling, breathing through
wouldn't go
minimal airspace.
further.
The sensation was claustrophobic and terrifying, like swimming through a water-filled tunnel. McCartney continued for 40 feet beyond where McCain had stopped. As McCartney rounded a bend, the nightmare scenario unfolded before him. The passage angled sharply downward with the ceiling dropping even lower. In the bend, there was virtually no airspace left above the water. McCartney found himself facing a water-filled tube with no room for his head. He tried to back up, but the tight space made it nearly impossible to reverse. Panic set in as he realized he was trapped with no air pocket. The others heard sounds of distress from around the bend. McCartney began kicking and thrashing in the water desperately. McCain called out, but got no response from his friend. When McCain reached him, McCartney went underwater and didn't come back up. He finally surfaced floating face down, completely motionless. McCain and Sawyer rushed forward, but the confined space made rescue difficult. McCain finally reached McCartney after about 45 seconds that felt like hours. He grabbed the unconscious man and dragged him downstream towards safety. McCain found a section with more airspace to begin emergency treatment. McCartney's eyes were glassy and showed no signs of consciousness. McCain immediately began CPR in the cramped cave conditions. Sawyer and Kern helped keep McCartney's head out of water during rescue breaths. After 2 to 3 minutes, McCartney suddenly regained consciousness. The relief was overwhelming, but they knew they weren't safe yet. They moved him to a mud bank where he could sit up and recover. The journey out was a nightmare of endurance and determination. They had to navigate a 300-foot crawl with only 6 inches of airspace. McCain created a flotation device using waterproof packs tied to his waist. McCartney could rest his head on the packs while McCain pulled him through. Hour after hour, they worked their way through the cave system obstacles. Finally, 6 hours after entering, all 4 men emerged from the cave. McCartney was taken to the hospital where he spent 4 days recovering. Doctors confirmed he had nearly drowned, and his friend's quick action saved his life. Cenote Chacmul Cave Incident. On April 19, 2012, 3 divers entered Cenote Chacmul in Mexico late in the afternoon. Carlos was a 28-year-old diving guide who had worked at the cenote for 2 years. He had performed hundreds of cavern dives in the safe zone where natural light could reach. But Carlos had a dangerous secret. He wasn't certified to lead cave diving trips. That afternoon, Carlos met Marina and Eduardo, a young Brazilian couple on their honeymoon. The newlyweds had saved for months to afford this trip to Mexico. They arrived just 1 hour before the cenote closed for the day. Marina was the first to show signs of distress in the overhead environment. Her breathing became rapid. It was too late. Marina had already inhaled water as her air supply ran out completely. Eduardo tried desperately to save his wife, but had exhausted his own air. In the darkness with no natural light, all 3 divers became disoriented. Above the surface, the cenote had officially closed for the day. Staff noticed Carlos and his clients hadn't returned, but weren't immediately concerned. As evening evening wore on with no sign of the divers, concern grew into alarm. Emergency services were notified and a search and rescue operation began. Cave diving rescue teams were called in with powerful lights and specialized equipment. Shortly before 2 a.m. on April 20th, the search teams made the tragic discovery. The 3 bodies were found deep in the cave zone,
Jesus
far
Christ.
beyond the safe area. 𝙂𝙚 Cave Incident. On November 21st, 2021, 16 people entered a cave near Lake 𝙂𝙚 in Panama. The group included 11 locals from Panama, 1 Canadian tourist, and 4 friends from Venezuela. Their guide had been leading cave tours for over 10 years and knew the caves perfectly. The group put on their headlamps and entered the cave entrance for what seemed like a routine tour. Everything started perfectly as the guide pointed out incredible rock formations. But while they were underground, dangerous weather was developing above them. Heavy storm clouds were rolling in fast, carrying massive amounts of water. When it rains hard above ground, all that water flows down into the cave. He was hearing the rushing water. Above ground, the storm was pounding the jungle with devastating force. The guide started yelling instructions to follow him toward higher chambers, but water was pouring in everywhere, slicking on each gate, a treacherous section. But the cave floor was so when Group tried to save the group. 15 people were now trapped in a worried and contacted emergency services. Back inside the cave, the water kept rising with a deafening roar. The Canadian tourist used his camera flash to help light their surroundings. The water was now waist deep and strong enough to knock people down. As they fought through flooding passages, 2 more people were claimed by the water. A middle-aged Panamanian man lost his footing in the vicious current. A young Venezuelan woman was also swept away as people tried to help. In minutes, they went from 16 excited tourists to 13 terrified survivors. The remaining 13 somehow managed to keep going through the nightmare. They climbed over rocks and pulled each other through flooded passages. Their headlamp batteries were dying, adding another layer of terror. They spent hours in freezing water in almost complete darkness. Eventually, the 13 survivors found their way to a higher chamber. They were exhausted, freezing, and traumatized beyond belief. When rescue teams finally reached them, they had been through hell. All 13 survivors emerged from the cave alive, but forever changed. The guide's body was recovered the next day, along with the 2 other victims.
Oof. What if you lived on Mars 1 billion years ago? That's a nice one. Alright, let's continue. Alright. Oh, okay.
Hello guys and gals, me 𝙂𝙚, and ladies and gentlemen, I'm going to stay quite still for this video because I don't know what happened today, but I think my back has been locked, okay? It really feels like there's a Jenga game in my upper torso, and one wrong move can make me collapse hard as hell. It actually hurts to laugh a little bit. So you know what? I'm going to get into something that is a little bit serious. So yesterday, one of my favorite games got delayed, Grand Theft Auto 6, and there's been a lot of speculation going on. But it turns out things at Rockstar may not be as clean as they seem to be, ladies and gentlemen. Now, if you remember back then, a game called Red Dead Redemption 2 ended up dropping, and Red Dead Redemption 2 was one of the...
I ain't Rockstar, what did you expect?
Dumb rules that exist for smart...
I think I've seen that already.
Most people think they know Windows, XP, 7, maybe a or Microsoft apart. The lost versions of Windows you never knew quietly rewrote the future. Why were these revolutionary Windows shuttered? And what really, even what project it belonged description but understood? Under the hood, OFS worked more like a database, projects that tried and struggled to finish what Cairo had started. Was circulating among Juarez groups and beta collectors.
The AI voice is what threw me off, so yeah.
Scientists finally did it. They've discovered life on Mars. Maybe. To fully understand what they've found and what this discovery means for you, well, let me take you back in time. But I'm not just going to take you back 1 billion years. We're gonna start much further. It might have been a better location for life to take hold than Earth. And maybe it did have living organisms on it. So let's start at the beginning. And by that, I mean the beginning of the planets in our solar system, around 4.5 billion years ago. Well, I actually have
a bunch of dirt and stuff. You can't see anything without a proper microscope. So honestly, disappointing. Very disappointing.
Yeah, that appearance was disappointing. It's true, even though this recent discovery was the best proof of ancient life on Mars,
Yeah.
it's very unlikely that life was anything but microbes.
Hold
While
on. I
Perseverance
want to try.
has
I need to hydrate. Alright. And.
collected a number of samples, we still have to get those samples back to Earth
Yeah.
so we can study them properly.
The current plan is a sample return mission in 2030, and I believe the samples would come back to Earth in 2031.
Yeah, getting those rocks back is a complicated process. NASA is looking at sending a whole team of robots to get these samples and bring them back to Earth on a European Space Agency orbiter.
Ooh.
But until that happens, we won't know for sure if there was ancient life on Mars. But
Yeah.
we do know that back in this Hesperian period, Mars was still rocking active volcanoes, only not for long. As its magnetic field dissipated, the temperature dropped. Mars was losing its atmosphere, and water became locked into ice. Whenever asteroids smashed into Mars, the impacts superheated the underground water and created explosive flash floods, Martian tsunamis. And here's something cool to think about. We know that billions of years ago, chunks of Mars often got blasted off the planet and landed on Earth. We have over 400 pieces of space rock with Martian origins, which means if life was common on Mars back 3.5 billion years ago, could you yourself be from Mars? It'd be wild, but
Wait, are we partial? Hold on. Is he saying genetically we are partially Martian? Chat, I think us humans are the aliens on this planet.
anything is possible.
The entire human species
Life on Earth
maybe
originated
actually
from
be aliens.
microbes that immigrated to our planet,
Who knows?
traveling on space dust, meteoroids, asteroids, comets, or even spacecraft. Now, Earth didn't see the first multicellular animals until about 800 million years ago, and those were just sponges. But they could be sponges from Mars. Who knows?
Who
I'm getting
knows?
carried away now. And this video is called What If You Lived on Mars 1 billion years ago, not 3 billion years ago. So, as exciting as this time was for Mars, let's fast forward a little more. By the end of the Hesperian
there you go.
period, things started going downhill for Mars. While its neighbor Earth was welcoming life, changing its atmosphere, and reshaping its surface, Mars was losing all the things that life could hold on to. 2.9 billion years ago, the Martian magnetosphere was gone, and without it, solar winds did what solar winds do and stripped much of the atmosphere. The air had become thinner and could no longer retain heat. Very quickly, Mars was becoming cooler and drier, and that's bad news for the water on its surface. As the temperatures fell well below freezing, liquid water was disappearing, but it was still there. Yeah, at this point, Mars still had some of its briny, salty water in isolated areas, but if you look around, you'll see that most of the oceans, rivers, lakes, gone. Volcanoes were on their way out too. As Mars was cooling off, volcanoes became less frequent. But you could still see Olympus Mons erupting occasionally, and these eruptions temporarily made Mars just a little warmer. Yeah, every time Olympus Mons erupted, it didn't just spread lava, it spewed out greenhouse gases. For a short while, Mars may have warmed up, melting ice and unleashing sudden floods. These eruptions could be seen as the planet's last attempt to stay habitable. Now, what about all that potential life? Well, it's horrible news for those microbes, too. Now, back on Earth, microbes were thriving. Cyanobacteria started photosynthesis and pumped oxygen into the air. This began changing the composition of Earth's atmosphere. But Mars wasn't going in that direction. It started to get a cold, red desert vibe. Even if microbial life did exist 3.5 billion years on Mars, now, well, it was dying in this increasingly hostile environment. The only chance it had of surviving would be underground, protected from the harsh surface.
If anything could survive on Mars, it'd have to be tough as hell, and it would probably have to be below the surface, maybe a meter, a few meters.
If any Martian microbes survived, they likely abandoned the surface and retreated underground into aquifers, caves, or close to geothermal hotspots, shielded from the radiation and freezing air above. Okay, finally, we fast forward to 1 billion years ago. That's what you've been waiting for, right? Well, that's too bad, because this is when Mars was inevitably becoming what it is today, a red, lifeless rock. This period of Martian history is called the Amazonian. It started 2.9 billion years ago, and it's still going on as of today. Yeah, that's right. Mars has looked like this for a very long time. Dry, dusty, rusty red. Whether it was 2 billion years ago, or 1 billion, or 2 years ago. If you lived on Mars, life would be the same. To be clearer, there wouldn't be any. At least not that we know of. So here you are, in the middle of the red desert. The atmosphere is thin, composed mostly of carbon dioxide, and the surface pressure is low, about 1% of Earth's. Surface water doesn't exist, or if it does, it doesn't last, it vaporizes. Plus, it's freezing. By now, the average surface temperature has plummeted to about minus 60 degrees Celsius. That's negative 76 degrees Fahrenheit. But occasionally, Olympus Mons erupts and warms up the surrounding area. If you don't know, Olympus Mons isn't your average volcano. At about 22 kilometers or 14 miles high, it's the largest volcano in the solar system. Yeah, 3 times taller than Mount Everest and about the size of the entire state of Arizona. It started forming 3.5 billion years ago. For billions of years, it was growing, turning into a giant. It was able to do this without any interference because Mars doesn't have plate tectonics beneath its crust to move this mountain around. And 1 billion years ago, it was still active. Not as active as in its best years, but it wasn't dormant. It spewed lava for hundreds of kilometers and reshaped and warmed the Martian surface around it. Back then, it could have been a Martian's last resort. All that underground heat could have created hydrothermal systems, which are a really good place for microbes to hide from harsh surface conditions. Today, Olympus Mons is silent, just a giant pimple on the Martian surface, one that's visible from space. I had one of those before senior prom. From this point on, Mars didn't change much. Now, without an atmosphere or water, its surface is primarily changed by erosion, some late-stage volcanism, and lava flows. Strong winds also shape Mars, creating sand dunes and flattening the plains. There could be underground water, but no oceans. And here and there, there's faint evidence of life, like these leopard spots on rocks that shouldn't have spots.
You know, the search for life on Mars is going to get harder as time goes on. The spacecraft we send now, we decontaminate them as much as we can so that if we do find organic molecules or possible biosignatures, we're pretty sure that it's not contamination brought from the Earth. But once you start sending people up there, I mean, we're just bags of microbes and germs, right? So once we start sending people up there, finding unambiguous signs of life is going to be harder because we're not going to be sure that it's not contaminants that we brought ourselves to Mars.
That is true.
Mars actually. Oh, look, storm's coming. That's not ominous at all.
Maybe one day you'll set foot on Mars,
Oof.
build a base, grow some potatoes, and try your best to last longer than 5 seconds here. But
That's true.
a story for another.
What if? Hey, what if what if it's just a theory? A space theory. Anyhow, come on. Nope. Nope. Oh my fucking god. Can you open? Thank you. Okay. Okay. Alright, why do I give me that? Alright. Let's watch this one. I always like watching the micro videos. It gives me ideas.
Minecraft 1.21 has a satisfyingly perfect 64 biome types. That's 53 in the overworld, 5 in the nether, 5 in the end, and 1 void biome. Most overworld biomes have a huge variety of easily accessible resources to make progression fun and interesting. Today, I'm attempting to beat Minecraft in a world type full of challenging terrain blocks, no natural food items, and constant hostile mob spawns. This is a Soul Sand Valley world. Oh, there's a gas right there. I'm stuck on Soul Sand already? Did you despawn? I think you did. So to make this a truly Soul Sand Valley only world, the stronghold actually generates inside the nether. So we'll actually never need to enter the overworld. Oh, hey Enderman. I don't think I'm ready to take you on yet. Oh, look, we got a dried gas. I guess I can collect some of the blocks that I can break by hand. They might be useful for something. There we go. We got a stack of soul soil. Oh, there's a skeleton right there. This soul soil is going to be so frustrating. Oh, there's a fortress there. How am I supposed to take you on with nothing? Maybe I can sneak past on this side without you noticing. Stop walking this way. No, go the other way. So far, so good. Oh no, we got a lava lake. Oh no, this is a bad start. I guess we can cross the lava lake. A ruined portal would have been very nice to maybe get some initial tools and armor. There's blazes already. I think I can make my way over from here. This soul sand is so annoying already. At least I don't have to worry about piglins right now. But look at this. We made it. There are so many wither skeletons. I just want to find a chest. Go, 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 go. Oh, that's a lot of mobs. Ow. Climb. Oh, no, there's more. Oh. No. No. Maybe I can see if I can find a chest before the wither gets me. Oh, I survived. Oh, no.
Didn't.
I can at least make a staircase for myself to make dying a little bit easier. Okay, I just want to find a chest in this place. Is that too much to ask? Oh, I think I need a better strategy for this. Oh, they are so accurate. It's not fair. Okay.
Lol.
Nowhere is safe. Oh, I don't like it. That's a spawner. I'm literally building up to a spawner. That is not the right location to be. No. Okay, let's go again. Let's try and get in through the fence posts. Those enclosed areas are where we can find fortress chests. Oh no,
Yeah.
there's a skeleton already. We're not even in the fortress. Okay, let's just break in through the fence posts. Oh no. Okay, the
Already?
best thing to do right now is maybe prepare our bridge for when we need to come back here. At least now I don't have to deal with the soul sand getting here. Jump scared me so bad. Okay, this is the time. Okay, yes, we got a chest. Oh,
Okay.
chest plate. Nice. Okay, I'm gonna take the chest. Let's block it off so we know where we are. Another chest. Let's put that armor on.
I need water.
Oh, we got a sword. I still don't have any protection from blazes. Let's get back with this stuff. Let's see. Oh, I did. No.
Rejuvenated.
What a fail. Let's go home. Oh, look, I'm so glad I put that there. And I hope that we don't get sniped on the way back by the blazes. Okay, we can set up a double chest. Let's put everything in the chest. And we can do that. It is so nice to be able to respawn. Round 2 in the fortress. I want to try and fully loot this thing. Oh no. I should have brought that sword. Okay, we're a monster hunter. Do you want to give me a sword? No, just bones. That is, that's a dead end. I don't think it's supposed to be. That is weird. Oh, we have a system. What is with the piglins getting in front of me like that? It's like they're looking for an excuse to attack me. No sword? Whoa, 4 diamonds. I don't have a crafting table though. Okay, that's a dead end. I think I might have gotten all of the chests. Oh, whoa. Let's not go that way. Did I check that? Oh, no, I didn't. Whoa. Oh. Let's head back with the stuff. Next time we're going to bring a sword with us. But that is really great. Oh, I can't run. Nobody follow me. There we go. Now I'm feeling a little better. Oh, I didn't take any blocks with me this time. What am I doing? Oh, another chest. Oh, more gold. What am I supposed to do with all the horse armor?
Not sure.
So much better. I hit the piglin. No, I hit the piglin. I'm so sorry. Oh, I got some rotten flesh. I think we've pretty much looted this whole place. What is... Whoa, look. I see a fortress. I mean a ruined portal. Are we chill? Yeah, okay, good. There we go. Oh, it is enormous. Look at the size of this thing. Okay, nobody's gonna snipe me, right? We can head down and check the chest. Whoa, I have so many chest plates. Oh, no. Oh, this place is not safe at all. Oh, look at this loot that we have. Wow, this stuff is great, but we still need a lot better stuff if we want to actually try and beat the game. I don't want to get too far away from my spawn. Let's try and take another direction. Let's see if we come across anything. Oh, there we go. My health is so low again. I guess we could just focus on making a pathway over there. This thing is much further away than it looked. Traveling with no tools in the nether is not easy. Ah, no. No, what a fail. Not having a shield is a big issue. No, I just want to reach my way over there. No, Heart. I might as well just let it happen. Okay, but at least we basically have a way there. Ooh, let's keep him a little bit of distance. Oh, hey, do not jump down. I don't even know where the chests are.
Oh, no.
I tried to make it safe.
Gone too far yet. Oh, you need to.
Nintendo has been turning into a company that only cares about money. With record high prices, mediocre games, and a progressively less friendly company image dividing their fan base and posing the question, what happened to the version of Nintendo that cared about their customers?
Exactly.
Well, in this video, I'm going to discuss where Nintendo went wrong. Putting out $70 games, but they also took advantage up the price that you would have paid for both games originally on the Wii, which is $50 each, it totals out to $100. And with that bundle, there is a bit of depreciation here. The games are less money than they were originally on the Wii, so that's a good thing. The issue is that Nintendo is selling these remasters separately for $40 each on the eShop, which is only $10 less than the original price on the Wii. But Nintendo's pursuit of money doesn't stop at games. actually told Nintendo that the terms of this EULA are questionable under Brazilian law. But now I want to discuss who or what turned Nintendo into such a greedy and entitled company. Well, the way I see it, it's pretty simple. Nintendo has always been this way. A good example is the Wii Sports dispute between former Chief of Operations at Nintendo of America, Reggie Fils-Aimé, and the executives at Nintendo Global. Reggie wanted Wii Sports to be a pack-in game for the Wii, and he pushed really hard for this to be the case. He thought it would be a good idea to show off the proprietary concept of the Wii to people and kind of how to use it. But of all people, Shigeru Miyamoto, who is not at all known for being involved on the business side of Nintendo, pushed back, where Miyamoto stated, quote, "Neither of you understands the challenges of creating software that people love to play. We do not give away our software." Wii Sports was only included with the Wii because Satoru Iwata, who I mentioned earlier, decided that it wouldn't be a bad idea to include Wii Sports with the Wii because it would teach people how to use it and kind of explain the technology. Miyamoto was reportedly not happy about this, and I think that's the best example to show how Nintendo has always operated as a business. Miyamoto's quote summed it all up. They don't give away their software because they think it's extremely valuable. But anyway, let me know down in the comments section what you think of all of
Honestly, Nintendo is a company. Of course, companies gonna be greedy. Not always from the start, maybe, because I know what. Remember, back in Nintendo's humble days, they started as a trading card company. As soon as they saw that they were making profits, that's when they got greedy. The second they made some profits, that's when they got greedy. No, it's two things. The second they made profits, and the second they made the decision to make more money. That is fucking greed. Steam's making profits, but Steam decided not to make more money. So, the outside of the Steam Deck, which is, well, I respect Steam, and Steam VR. Outside of those two, Steam decided not to pursue making money in outside of that. So, I respect Steam. Anywho, I think quite what the fuck? Anywho, there you go. I just want to say that it's been a chill stream. Obviously, if you see, I'm a bit tired. I'm a bit tired from work, but yeah, it is what it is. That being said, I just want to say that thank you everyone for joining today's stream. My name is Brandon Blitz. I'm a variety streamer. I stream lots of video and chat suggests me, as well as I draw art, I do coding. I will get back into coding chat, I do promise that. Probably, let me give myself a date. Let's see. Friday. Sunday, maybe Sunday, like, Sunday after, like, because remember, I do 2 hours, like, I'm doing 2 hours of Halo, 1 hour break, 2 hours of Minecraft. Maybe I'll do 1 hour of coding. I wish just light coding practice. Yeah, 1 hour light, not anything getting big into, just very light coding practice. Yeah, maybe I'll do that if I remember. With that being said, thank you everyone for joining today's stream, and thank you everyone for watching today's YouTube VOD. And that being said, I gotta get going now. Bye bye, matinee.